Hi everyone, welcome back to Martin's Home and Garden, Houseplant of the Week. This week we're talking about the beautiful Maidenhair Ferns. These plants are native to Africa, Australia, the Norfolk Island, and New Zealand. They'll get to be about 1 to 2 feet tall to 1 to 2 feet wide indoors, and they are known for their super delicate and lacy looking leaves. They are considered hardy in their natural environment, where you can find them growing along the side of rock walls, in the cracks and the crevices. The water that seeps through those cracks and crevices is what keeps them thriving, since they love a consistently moist soil, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. They can, however, indoors be a little bit more picky about their watering conditions and all that good stuff, but don't worry, we are going to show you how to keep them super happy and healthy in your homes today. So we are going to jump right into it, and the first thing we'll talk about is the lighting requirements for these plants. They're used to having a tree canopy above them in the wild, which means they are used to getting more of a shade, partial sun environment. So giving them a bright indirect light in your home is going to be best for these plants. You should also avoid direct sun at all costs for these, because their leaves are so delicate and thin. Direct sun will burn them pretty quickly. If you're noticing some browning edges and that your plant is in a window that gets direct sun, move it back a couple feet just so it's in a little bit more of a shady spot, and that should fix the problem. Probably the most important aspect of care for this plant is going to be the watering conditions. These plants want a consistently moist soil all the time. They don't ever want to dry out. So giving this plant a little bit of water every day or every other day at minimum is going to keep this plant from drying out completely and keeping it looking nice and lush and happy and healthy. You should, however, watch out for yellowing leaves, which is a sign of overwatering. Even though they love moist conditions, does not mean that drainage is not important. They still can be overwatered, and you want to avoid overwatering them as much as possible, because you can run into problems like root rot. They are not immune to root rot, unfortunately, but giving them a little bit of water every day, like I said, will keep that problem away. And then the next most important aspect for this plant is humidity. They love a warm, humid environment, so misting them, keeping them next to a humidifier is going to kind of mimic their natural environment, giving them that nice humidity to keep them looking nice and luscious. Another good thing to kind of boost the humidity is to keep them in a bathroom. The humidity from whenever you shower, whenever you take a bath, whatever, is going to go into the air and create that humid environment for these plants. So they are a really good option if you're wanting a plant to put in your bathroom. They do not, however, want to be next to any kind of cold drafts from a window or air vents. So keep them away from those, and they will still be looking all happy and healthy. And then the last thing we'll talk about today is the soil for these plants. It's not super crazy important aspect. You can use pretty much any well-draining potting soil. This one is a Fertilome Ultimate potting mix. It's got perlite and peat moss and stuff in it. It's going to create a better drainage for this plant while still being able to keep it in the moist conditions that it prefers. It's also important to note that, like most other plants, you should put a drainage hole in the bottom of the pot that you plant this plant in, sorry. Just because, like we said before, even though it likes moist conditions, it doesn't want to sit in soggy soil, or it could get root rot. So allowing the plant to have a drainage hole in the bottom of the pot is going to prevent it from sitting in too much excess water, which will prevent root rot situations. But that is all that we have today for you guys, and we will see you again next week. Bye!